Hi and welcome everyone. Let's check that everything works as per usual. We are ready for another meetup. Today we are together in the studio. Oh, awesome. I see it working here. I'll share links for everyone that is coming from Meetup.com in the Meetup.com event, just in case some people need a last reminder. 1 second, let me get the link to Twitch as well. And then we'll get right to you and have a nice introduction. So, we should automate some of this stuff, I guess, huh? Yes. So, we are live. Come join us. Good. Okay. So today is a little bit different. First off, so I'm here with Rodolfo.
And I'm here with Robert.
Let us know if you can hear us well or not. We have to sort of share a microphone. We're of course keeping respectful distance in these times, and we have antibacterial and everything here in the office. We decided to get together today. It's my first time back in the office, and I probably won't do that more than once a week. It was nice to experiment with, and then I wanted to offer Rodolfo the chance to also be with me in this empty, big room where we normally have the meetups and see how this works out. Let us know. Audio is good on me, and when Rodolfo is talking more, let us know if you can hear him well or not.
Yeah,
thanks.
That's it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, Christian. Hello. Thanks for the great talk last time. Mohammed Shoaib is with us. Thanks for joining. Then we have Matthias Endler from Graz. I think I see your avatar. Yeah, from Graz. Dertseha saying audio is good. And Rodolfo is both talking and chatting, so that's good.
I'll try to monitor here the questions.
Thank you.
Make sure we don't miss anything.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, let's just get to it. Let me share my screen. Let's see if I can be smart about this. I'm going to have two monitors when I do this. So now I'm just on the laptop. Let me check that I can. Nope. Okay, then I need to do this. Just a little bit trial and error. 1 second here. Application window. Good stuff. That was the right application window.
So
still working?
Christian has joined twice.
Oh.
It's both on Twitch and YouTube. That's great.
Nice.
Double audience.
Okay. The only thing to mention that I haven't mentioned at the start, some of you might have stumbled across this live stream via one of the two channels, YouTube or Twitch. If you have and you have no clue what this is a local meetup, meaning a get-together, normally in a physical location, with one or two talks. This is on the topic of Golang, which is a programming language. Since the start of COVID-19, we've decided to try out online meetups. So we've done that for the first time. We've had some success, so we wanted to keep that going. So this is by no means a full replacement to being physical together and to share pizza and drinks with you, but we are enjoying and making the most of it. So today we don't have so much of a program, as you might have seen if you read the email and saw the program at some point the last 24 hours. We did have a cancellation last week of the talk. We tried to get a new talk replacement, but we're not successful. If any one of you saw the program and are curious to giving a lightning talk, we can try to do something spontaneous. So let us know in the chat. But that's by no means a requirement. We'll still be chatting for a bit together with you, and me and Rodolfo have something that we can talk about regardless. And then most likely will be a shorter meetup than normal, but we'll see. I'm sure it'll be fun to share the virtual space with you all, if somewhat briefly today. yeah, not so much more about the program. We'll just talk a bit, and then we're open for questions. And if you guys want to comment or discuss in the chat, or if you have questions or topics that you'd like us to discuss, then feel free to chime in. You can post it at any time in the chat, and we'll go and highlight it when it's appropriate timing. As always, we are on Twitter and not so active there as per usual in the meetups, but I've tweeted out that we are live. Feel free to follow us and also retweet and like. And as most of you know, we are mainly centered around Meetup.com, so you can go and join us there if you're not already a member. And also at the end of this meetup, it's awesome if you can leave a review, even if it's just a 5-star and a word like good, awesome, or something like this. That will help so that others also get to find this group and share your Golang passion with them. This is more of a link. You can just go to golang.org and click the blog, and then you will see some information that we covered in a previous meetup in terms of the pandemic and what it means for Go and the community. It mainly means that meetups like us are going online instead, and same for conferences, if at all, still running. And it also means that I think can you remember I think the releases are going as normal, but they might be a bit slower.
The scope was reduced.
Scope is reduced.
For 1.15. So.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna land. And there are some interesting changes anyway. So you can also go through that.
Yeah. As for upcoming meetups, we don't plan to do anything in July or August unless something spontaneous happens, and it's easier for us to be spontaneous now that we have the online routine and possibility. So, of course, if any of you are screaming in a couple of weeks that, hey, I have a talk I would love to give, or there's a hot topic to discuss, we can, of course, do something spontaneous. But barring that, most likely we will be back again in September. And the way it looks like now in Vienna, I personally don't think we'll be physically having a meetup then, but who knows, that might change. It depends also a bit on my company who's sponsoring the location. Right now it's not a possibility, and right now it's opened up since the beginning of June in Austria. It will open up more beginning of July, but I think everyone is waiting patiently to see how that is going to affect the whole pandemic status. So yeah, that's all we can say for now. We hope to be back in September. As you might know, I organize also 2 other meetups, Free Code Camp Vienna and Vue.js Vienna. Those are a bit different. Free Code Camp is maybe the closest because it is full stack but JavaScript, whereas Vue.js Vienna is front end, even though I guess someone has made a Vue.js Vienna some sort of reactive backend, but that's really not the norm. So feel free to join there if you have any interest in any of those. And Free Code Camp stands out in the sense that if you are an experienced developer and you'd like to help beginners, please get in touch. We would love your help, either giving a talk or mentoring a workshop or something like this. Just a couple of words. So AppCont is normally sponsoring the physical pizza, the physical drinks. Today we only have virtual. We have here for us physical drinks, but we cannot send them to you via the interwebs. So no pizza. Yes. But that will always be covered by AppCont once we are back again. And AppCont is covering the software license for what the tool we are using to stream to you today. Plus, they're supporting my time spent planning and hosting the meetup. Which is why we're mentioning that AppCont is hiring. So both back-end jobs, front-end jobs. Also, if you have yourself or someone you know that's looking for something else like project management or business analyst, we have a multitude of jobs open. When it comes to stack on back-end, we are Java, very heavily Java-centric. As far as I know, nothing currently is in Go. Does not mean that there's no possibility to influence, but I would not apply to AppCont if you're looking for a pure Golang job. That being said, when I say it, I actually realize I was half wrong. There is at least one person or maybe a couple people I know in our operations working with Kubernetes that, of course, have to write some Go. So there is a possibility to apply for an operations job. That might be a slight fit if you're looking for something. Here's the virtual delights for today. Hopefully you have something prepared at home. Maybe you can go grab something in your fridge, not provided by us, of course. Good. Now I need to switch back and do this. Okay. Yeah. Should we cover 115 first?
Yeah, we can take a look at that. See if we check some highlights.
Yeah. Do you want to share the screen via the tool, or should I get it up?
I can share the link with you. It might be
Yeah.
easiest to get.
Yeah. Then I will have it up and you can get stuff.
I'll follow here as well.
Yeah.
The draft notes are out and they're always available on tip.golang.org. Then /doc/go.115. That's for the 115 release. And again, this is just a draft. Basically, as people are developing new features, they sometimes remember to put at least a note, maybe not the final note, in this release notes. So sometimes things are removed if the feature is dropped before the release. So nothing that is there is guaranteed. And sometimes things go in, so they are in master, but they are not yet in the release notes. So yeah, there are changes. We'll just go over these and try to see if there's something that is interesting for either of us, right? So as I mentioned to Rob before we went live, like Go is known for being a boring language, so normally there's nothing like extremely exciting or like unexpected. There are no changes to the language, no new feature, and so yeah, let's go and see like for ports. So there are changes to Darwin, Windows, Android, OpenBSD, and RISC. So I don't normally care too much about this. I'm normally writing stuff for targeting Linux. Sometimes I develop on Mac, so I'm not too concerned with the multiple languages, but it's interesting to be able to build stuff, especially for like Android, or, especially that you can cross-build from any platform. You can cross-build to the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is of interest here?
Yeah, there's a couple of those extra flag for Go tests. You can change timeout flag that will now invalidate cache test results. I'm sure many of you might have looked at this already, so feel free to chime in the chat if there's something that has stood out to you. In the runtime.
Oh yeah, I read about this. Like there is one about the module cache, and there is a variable where you can change the cache. I actually don't understand much the error, but it was funny. Like I started reading a bit about like there is a bug on Windows that there is basically a race condition, like trying to unzip the cache. Like if two processes, like if you have an antivirus that is trying to read the file, it then like causes an error. So it's very funny.
Okay.
Kind of happens because you typically have an antivirus on Windows. You have like other processes scanning the disk. So that's interesting. Weird enough to be interesting.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
Yeah, but it kind of opened up a way to like, it's also kind of, I don't know if there will be a day that GoPath doesn't matter anymore. Because normally now the cache is stored inside of GoPath.
Yeah.
So there's a new vet warning for trying to convert. So some people mistakenly try to convert a number to a string by calling string on the, on the number, but that doesn't give the expected result often. Like often you mean string of number 1 to be a string with the number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually like it actually encodes the thing as like the byte 1 in ASCII.
Okay.
And it doesn't make sense, right? It often doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So because we can't change the language, the first thing will be a vet. So Go vet is run. This is also run when you run Go test.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have code like that, your tests will start failing. That's probably the first place where you see this change.
Yeah.
And the suggestion is that you basically change your code to a more explicit version where you convert first. So you first convert your integer here to a room,
mm-hmm.
and then you convert it to string. But that's again going to give you the character with that code point number, right? So if you have a thing like A in ASCII 65, so if you take 65, convert it to a rune and convert it to a string, you get A.
Mm-hmm. Right? Gotcha. Yeah.
If you want to convert like 65 to like two characters, 6 and 5, as you normally would, then you use the string conf package. Right?
Okay.
So I to A or format fthumped.string as print to create a new string. So all of those work today, like they have always worked. So this is basically trying to prevent people from making mistakes. The other change to vet is also trying to help people avoid mistakes, which is it prevents you from doing impossible interface conversions. So basically it will fail at the Go test time if you're trying to do like a type assertion with types that don't make any sense. So this is also interesting. And again, like since we can't change the language now, like that's the promise, don't break the language, then the first step is to use the tools around it to
make life
try
easier.
to help you move to better code.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember now, there is one thing interesting about 1.15, which is smaller binary sizes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a long, this is there in the compiler. So there is an issue open. For a long time, we've been tracking like binary sizes increasing. It's Go went 1.1, 1.2, 1.3,
Mm-hmm.
1.4, and the binary sizes just keep increasing. And
so
now,
for the first time in ever, it's actually decreasing?
I don't know if first time is decreasing. Maybe like overall, it might be actually.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, but that's interesting that like work is being done in that regard.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the last time I looked at the release notes, I didn't see the note that comes right below that there's some Intel CPU. There's a mitigation for a CPU problem that increases binary sizes, but we're still at a net gain. So the note here is that we're still at a net gain because of the other gains. So that's funny.
Yeah.
So the same, like there is a Spectre flag to enable mitigations for Spectre, and like all of these things are like they kind of play against each other, but at the end of the day, like we are still getting smaller binaries. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Let me check the chat for a second here if we have some comments.
There is a talk idea from Christian to talk about Golang CI linked.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Christian, do you mean today? If so, we can. I think we have contact details. We can send you a link. We can take it as it comes. I'm gonna send you the link, Christian, and then if you would like to join and do something spontaneously, feel free to join us.
That's cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Not today, no worries. We were just not sure what you meant. Cool, nice.
Yeah.
We can cover, if maybe you can check in the meantime if there's something else that stood out to you. If not, the release notes are available, or the draft is available for people to have a look at yourself. Hi from Aztec, hi back. Nice to have you join us. When also Dominic Deutsch is joining. Hey Dominic, nice to see you online. And then Mohammed Shoaib is saying, he's referring to, oh yeah, there was the question here. So Christian is asking, anyone anticipating to join the online replacement GopherCon Berlin next week? Actually, I have not looked into that myself. Have you?
No, I didn't. I shared a link to all the conferences there. So.
Yeah. That's definitely interesting. That's from the June 15th to 18th. Buy tickets here says that they cost, that takes a while to load, it seems.
Yeah.
They are 125 to 566 euros. If anyone is interested, we could maybe contact them if we can get some discounts, but we have not been in contact with them regarding promotion of GopherCon Europe. Are you planning to join, Christian? Muhammad is saying that he is not joining, low on funds because of COVID. Matthias, we are using StreamYard to stream. There's a free version that has a watermark, but we have the paid version, so we can brand as we want. Apropos that, I can add our logo. That was the wrong logo because I'm actually using the wrong theme here. So let's switch. That was good. That was my bad. But thankfully, there was no wrong logo in the corner. Okay. So yeah, we're using StreamYard. It makes it really easy to do stuff without extra software like OBS and stuff like this. Yeah, so Christian we can talk about that for sure. Either in the summer spontaneously, we can do something, or in September. For sure, we would love to have you join. Christian might join the conference. It depends on if he gets free time at work or not. And Matthias is saying thanks. So everyone, if you have any questions, topics, or things you'd like us to discuss together, or we could also discuss, we are 10 people now viewing, at least officially, the numbers I see, between Twitch and YouTube. I see most people are at least posting questions from YouTube. Bert Seha was posting on Twitch. But if you post a question...
That's Christian.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you were saying on both. Yeah, okay, cool. So it looks like it might be easy for us to share questions because they're all on YouTube. The problem we will have is if we answer a question that was posted on Twitch, we'll make sure to highlight it first. In other topics, there is a survey. So let me share my...
So there is actually one thing that is changing over 115 that is interesting.
Let me share. No, it's actually already sharing. Good.
Yeah. No, so one thing that I remember here is about the linker. There are changes to the linker. And so I work at Sentry, and we do error monitoring for all programming languages, Go included. And so one funny thing with Go, like when we're trying to take and like dig into the stack traces, is that there is basically like a way to mangle the name of the function that can be like basically you can arrive at the same name of something that should be internal to the code with something external because it's basically just a string concatenation of like, I think I don't remember the exact details, but I think it's something like go dot the name of a method or a type. So if you have like a type person and you have a method name, then you're going to have a person.name. And if it's something is internal, there is a go dot appended to it. So you have like go dot person. If it was internal, so like go dot syscall something. So like with the name of the package in front. The thing is that you can have a package that starts with go dot. I think One example is, I think Uber has a domain like go.uber.something something. So their packages start with go.
Yeah.
Immediately look like the ones that are internal to Go. And so there was a proposed fix to like change the way how the linker mangles these names, to put like an extra dot. And then the patch had to be dropped because the linker is being completely rewritten and the format's completely changed. So that's one of the things that is coming in 1.15, and I think this is part of the things that are, I might be wrong, but I think this is part of the reduction in binary sizes. And also I see here like it's reduction on linking time and memory required. So like there's a long project to like modernize the linker and more details there in the link. So this is interesting, like how it affected me because like a little bug that exists cannot be solved right now, but I think it's for the good part because the new format of the linker won't have this problem, as I understand. If I remember, we're always going to represent these names by like, there will be a mapping of like a number to the symbol, so there will be no doubt where the symbol is coming from. So maybe the bug is solved without further changes.
Nice. Cool. So now we are not on the main site, but maybe we can jump to that here. There was a survey last year, and the results were published just over a month ago. We haven't covered that before. We have not read it in depth just recently, so we'll discover something with you here, but feel free to have a look more in depth. Of course, the most fun stuff is the graphs. And these are people then that are interviewed that are, let's find the audience, thousands of Go developers who participated. So out of the participants in their organization, we have people of all different company sizes, from just me to unemployed or retired or whatever falls into this category. Seems like the median is probably somewhere in the middle. Most people have responded that they are between 100 and 1,000 employees. People have coded. Yeah, most people are somewhat experienced, it seems. I think it's, well, I don't know if it's a surprise or not. I think I would expect a bit more beginners, but it's the language matures and it's very domain, or has become very domain specific. Maybe that makes sense. And also as more people join, if they keep coding, eventually the number of people that are experienced will grow. But I always have a feeling that there's always more beginners than there's any other category, but maybe this survey didn't capture all the beginners.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Certainly skewed. They also made changes to how they do the survey to account for things that like could skew the data. Like I think one of the things was like there are some questions that have a very long list of options to select, and they realize in the previous years that the options that come first are normally the ones that people select. Then like they give up, and so they try to make some tweaks to try to capture for this, like maybe the experiences could be one of them. There's a bias who actually answers the survey versus where you are in your career.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some difference here then. Yeah. So most of the respondents, or how about half in terms of, no, actually this is, we cannot say it that way, but there's a good mix at least of people using it at work, outside work, or they at work program in another language, and then presumably Go is their hobby language, or they have just had a look and liked what they saw. Yeah. Language expertise in other languages versus in Go. Then we have, out of the ones that have 8+ years experience, C is on top. Python is kind of like a bit equally represented. And then we have, these colors are very, why did they use, this is really not accessible. But it's interesting nonetheless to see, they tried to be smart by using colors from, no.
Dashes and colors.
Yeah. Which of the following best describes the industry in which your organization operates? Yeah, it's not so surprising and not so interesting maybe.
It's funny that Go is used a lot for fintech, so that's the second. Maybe not the first one is obvious technology, but the second one is interesting.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of companies, fintech companies, doing banking related stuff that they use Go. That's cool. For me, I feel like more surprising to see gaming as the third. Well, okay, Christian showed.
Maybe Christian contributed. No, this was before his talk. Yeah,
but I wouldn't think like as a go-to language.
No, for sure, no.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Contributing to the open source written in Go, infrequently is the biggest category to never. So I guess infrequently means that people are either feeling like they should do or that they have done maybe once. But it's still nice to see that people, or a lot of people, given the size of the survey, are contributing a lot, and maybe they're including their own projects, which, as long as they're open source, I feel that counts. Maybe let's go a little bit quicker through because it's quite a big post, it seems. Which editor? Most people VS Code. Golang, IntelliJ, I've heard good things about. Vim, hey! Yeah, there's even some Emacs representation here.
Yeah, they're clearly top three, right? Golang, VS Code, and Vim.
And Vim with Vim.go plugin.
There's this question about if your organization runs an internal documentation server, and most say no. But still, there's a lot of, or at least perceived interest on making the Go.doc or the Go.package.dev server available as open source, so people can run their own. So that's interesting to see. Like they get a survey with responses. Okay, maybe most people don't really care, but there are still some people who care. I mean.
Yeah, passionately care. Maybe. Yeah.
Sentiments towards Go.
Yeah.
So generally positive.
Yeah, if you're welcome in the Go community. I think Go community is especially known for being diverse and open. So I think that's really nice to see manifested here. I'm confident leadership Go, I think, is also really nice. The legacy of the people that were behind the language initially, and the fact that some of them are still involved actively. And we've had big names kind of coming in from the beginning that kind of have manifested themselves as great contributors to both the language and the ecosystem. Rank the following languages in terms of your preference. I guess since this is a Go survey, that's no surprise. Python coming in second, and then JavaScript actually third. And for me as a front-end developer, that's nice to see. But maybe a bit surprising. People mixing Go and JavaScript probably means that most of them are have a Node background.
Or sometimes you don't have much choice, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, when you have a choice, you do maybe TypeScript when you're doing like JavaScript.
Yeah.
That's what you can choose from.
Or hopefully you can choose, depending on where you work.
Okay, yeah. That's true.
Most people are using it in web development. That's no surprise. Then we have databases, network programming, and systems programming, and DevOps. I'm surprised that DevOps is higher up here, but I guess since it's a programming language. DevOps, it's widely used, but often a bit more scripting wise. And if you are working on the tooling, then you will be programming more. But for most DevOps users, I guess it's more a bit of a config files and scripting some stuff yourself.
Yeah,
More scripting in terms of
scripting in Go can also be effective.
Yeah.
For example, there is very easy to make concurrent things. That's much easier than like Bash.
Yeah. I remember hearing a podcast episode at Go Time, I think it was, about when we go here to security, where there was a guy that was known for taking a lot of tools that was available written in a different language in terms of penetration testing, and his specialty was like writing almost like a tool suite for pen testing, but in Go. I think basing a bit on what I was already was available there, but made different in other languages. Talked about some benefits of the language that were nice to have there. I can't remember more details, but have a look at Go Time. There's a nice talk there, or podcast episode. Yeah. Maybe we can leave it at that. It's quite a long post. We can always go back to it. Let's have a look at the chat. So, Christian is saying maybe his message goes lost. The check PTR checker is quite good. I had to change my wrapper library and also another library because of that.
Yeah, so this is a change for, it was in the release notes. This is a change that now when you do batch race, it enables this checkpointer and checks for uses of unsafe pointer.
Oh, okay.
I think his tool probably uses unsafe pointer.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anthony asks, hi Anthony, do you use Go at your job as your main language? Which languages are you mixing?
Yeah, and then some people replied already. Comments.
Yeah, it's a good topic for all of us. For me, it's simple. I learned Go, or I have never used it professionally, so I've learned and had some hobby stuff, some small projects. When was that now? This meetup has been going almost 3 years. So I was already working at my first front-end job with JavaScript, and it's kind of by chance that my first developer job was front-end, mainly because that's what I learned mainly to code via Free Code Camp and on other courses that were supplementary to web development. And someone was willing to hire me with not no experience, because I did run an agency small time with WordPress, but just happened to be that at my first job I got paid to do only front-end stuff. On paper there was also Node, but I was never allowed to. That's a long story. Not allowed, but there was never a priority for me to do stuff on the Node project when the senior guy could do it himself, which tend to be a problem in teams. It's a pity. I would have loved to do more back-end stuff, which would give me a better segue into Go. Now I'm a happy mainly Vue.js, but JavaScript front-end developer. But I must admit I would love to be more proficient in Go, and also there's a big difference between what you learn on your own and actually working day to day, solving real problems at work with the language. That's two different things.
Yeah, so in my case, I work with Go, but not only Go. So I maintain the Go SDK for Sentry, but also end up working on other SDKs, so other languages, TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, etc. So yeah, it's a mix. Every day, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah. And in your previous job, did you?
Yeah, so previous job as well. Okay. So in the past years, I've always had some at least some Go in the day to day. So that's good.
Yeah. So we have from Matthias here, a resident Graz person. He's saying he uses JavaScript and Erlang besides Go and some Python. That's a nice mix. Erlang is something That's the telco legacy, right? Not legacy as in really old, but it's old. But it has. I remember correctly. I can't remember the name of
Ericsson.
Sorry. Ericsson. Yeah. Was that the name of the company or the guy? Because I was thinking about the author.
I don't know.
Okay. No, but then Ericsson, because I remember him praised highly and examples of how his personal, of course, style came into the language, but also how a lot of other languages have kind of like gone into that lineage of languages of but it's really interesting. I'd love to really just play around with a little bit of Erlang. I never got around to that, so that's nice. Feel free to chime in about how you like Erlang, Matthias. If you hate it or love it, or you just have to use it because of what you are working on at work or maintaining. Christian says he doesn't, sadly. It's Java and C++ by day and Go by night. Yeah, and I think with the amount of stuff you've shown us, Christian, I think you...
long nights.
It sounds like it's long nights. That's a good way of putting it. Mohammed is saying that Node and PHP primarily, with a tendency to migrate some very specific workloads to Golang. Yeah, that sounds nice. I think I've heard of people, like especially stuff that you would be tempted to do if you have a stack with JavaScript, and you would tempted to do it in Node. That people have had good experiences there, of course, and also just having small utils that's like a microservice there and microservice there. Maybe sneaking something in. What's the thing I'm thinking about? Like, I've heard of someone sneaking something into a front-end code base where it was probably some middleware or something where you could have done it with Node, but sneaking in a binary is maybe a way of both having fun if it's allowed in your company.
Yeah, so for example, what I saw today, I was reading about AWS Lambda, and there is something called AWS Lambda layers, which allows you to basically add the middleware in the Lambda level. So before, like when you're bundling together the code for your Lambda, you can like have add-ons basically. And it can work in two different ways. You can like add libraries that go to /OPT and kind of layer on top of each other. And when your function runs, you can use those libraries. So that's fine, okay. But the other use case, which is interesting, where Go can have a use, is that you can give whatever binary called bootstrap on your Lambda bundle, and this binary becomes the runtime for your Lambda. So it's responsible for taking all the requests and calling the Lambda handler, also reporting errors and everything. So basically it allows you to do things like run any language that is not directly supported by Lambda, right? By creating this custom runtime. So that could be a use for like having a Go binary there as a bootstrap that basically creates an arbitrary runtime for whatever you want.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. That is a nice tip. Lua. Matthias is saying he totally forgot Lua, but this is only used in conjunction with free switch to write dynamic dial plans. So definitely VoIP or SIP world there, it sounds like, with Erlang and free switch. Yes, Erlang was created by Ericsson, the telco vendor, around 86. Yeah. Ericsson invented. Joe Armstrong is the guy I'm thinking about. Yes. Yeah. So Ericsson, the company, and Joe Armstrong is the one that's maybe been the most famous. I think he passed away last year, 2 years ago, something like this, unfortunately. Robert Verding and Mike Williams in the late 1980s. I love it. Awesome. Mohammed is saying Golang plus Lambda is part of our template architecture around event-driven async or sync microservices. Yeah, nice. Cool. Maybe that's a good way to talk a little bit more in terms of so all of you are in the chat are obviously using Go to some extent. Some of you at work and some of you not. How long have you all been writing Golang, or since you learned to, came across Golang and started using it? How long?
I asked for you.
Sorry?
I asked for you.
Yeah. We can also, we can do this. Cool. I see we have a comment from Anthony, but feel free to chime in, all of you, how long you've been using Go. And also, of course, if you have anything that you have been struggling with, a use case or tools that you're missing in a specific domain in terms of Go, or anything that you would like some input on, feel free to write it in the chat. So Anthony is asking, in which types of projects did you use Go? And then Matthias have answered already that he uses Go mainly for API backends. I think in terms of web dev, that's probably one of the most widely the biggest use cases, I would say. Christian is saying that he started using Go with 1.3, if he remembers correctly. He wrote a library to calculate traveling salesman problem as a utility for the game EVE Online. Nice. Traveling salesman problem. I feel like I kind of heard about that, but feel free to elaborate if I cannot pinpoint it. Matthias has been using Go for 2 years now. Time flies by. For me, it's probably then 3 years, but cannot really just count the years, because if I don't actively code every week, then I don't feel it really counts. Rodolfo, since around 1.0.
Yeah, I remember like the first thing I wrote, I think it ran on 1.0. Like I heard of the language before, but for some time like it slept for some months. I didn't get very interested, and then I rediscovered it and started using it.
Nice. So in terms of EVE Online, a library to calculate routes through the galaxy was only used by another dev and was hardly used. So the traveling salesman, I guess, if you're traveling in EVE, you can, I guess, profit by selling. And I guess this was to calculate the optimal routes to go from one sales point to one another, I guess.
I remember a game that was, I think, called EVE.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same
Starships,
thing.
no? Like, I think it's, I don't think I ever played it, but I can see how it can be fun. I can imagine it can be fun. Not like Space Invaders, but more like a MMO type thing. Cool. Yeah, we've already been going almost 50 minutes. I think we can, we don't have to end this very minute, but we can still, since there is an active chat room, 8 people here, feel free to keep writing and we'll highlight and facilitate the chat and answer your questions if we can. Anthony's been writing for 2 months. He got finished with the Coursera course, but need more practice. It's the next challenge. Sounds good. I'm actually, maybe I should commit to this on air. So actually I do write more Go. I'm having a project that I think I should spend more time on, which is, I've gotten a little bit more into watches. So like wristwatches and automatic watches. And for other areas, like just your smartphone, you can go to like GSM Arena and you can compare smartphone with another smartphone. But I haven't really found something, at least not satisfying at all, in the watch world, which is surprising because it's such a big industry. And sometimes I just want to see like one face of a watch compared with another one, which is not always what you want to decide your next, if you're a watch collector, your next purchase on. But it's also would be nice to have like a side-by-side table of like specs for the watches. So I figured, like, coming from the front-end world, I want to make the front end either with Vue or Nuxt, but probably Nuxt because I can get some server-side rendering for SEO. But then I can't get away around the part that if I have like, I found a watch database that costs money and is maybe 17,000 models. And if I should auto-generate comparison, 2 times comparison, then it's like 17,000 to the power of 2 or something. So I don't think I want to plan on generate that many auto-generated sites, even though I think with the right tool, it could be feasible. I think I need to land on having like, you land on a site with a specs for watch, and then you click compare with, and then I would need some server API call so I can then get what I need and then do my magic. And you can do that with Nux by having like some sort of like hydration and that kind of stuff. So all this to say, hey, I could finally learn enough to and be comfortable to have an API server in production written by Go, or like a microservice in my case to begin with. So I think I should do that, because the alternative for me would be to learn the same principles of, a REST API, what makes it a good REST API, not just from what I know from a front-end guy consuming it, but the best practices of making it. My weakest area would be security in the backend. So these things wouldn't necessarily be easier for me in Node, even though it's JavaScript. It would be less friction for me to just get going. But learning a whole new ecosystem of Node to AQ Web Dev is comparable to just continue embracing Golang and take the jump. So a long story just to say that, I hope to have a talk on how a JavaScript guy wrote a web API with Go. That would be nice. Rodolfo is saying open source is a good opportunity in reference to Anthony.
Yeah.
Feel free to elaborate. I'm just going to take the chance to take something to share with.
Right. Yeah, so essentially, like, if you're learning, there is plenty of open source in GitHub. So, I mean, you certainly find something interesting and normally you want to find something that you're personally interested in. So, like, I know Christian has a lot of side projects that are of his personal interest. So it was good to see like his like the way he can talk about the things and like how it fulfills his heart somehow, like to work on those things. So if you find one of those projects that are really like close to your heart, then it'll be very easy to keep working on open source. If not, then of course, like you can do small programs, take things like project editor, and just code small challenges. That's also a way to get experience. Yeah,
and even if
project like Rob said, right? Just have an idea, start it, see how it goes. It's the best way to get experience.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone. I felt it was appropriate to have at least one, even though just to share in spirit with you guys. If you have something non-alcoholic, of course.
Yeah. And I have water.
Cheers, yes.
Cheers.
Refreshing beverage, for sure. It feels a bit strange to have so many meetups online and not have the social aspect in person. But we'll get there. We'll get through this. Okay. So yeah, a couple of more minutes for sure. Feel free to chime in. We had so much great collaboration. I think this is the smallest meetup that I organized, but this specific meetup event has definitely been the most interactive one, I think, that we've had. Maybe at least comparable to one other online event. So it's really nice to see so many of you joining us. And maybe it's also because we highlighted that in the email yesterday and in the program that we would like this event to be a bit more collaborative. It's really nice to see that it has worked out so well. I touched on a nice topic. Thank you. Development skills aren't that portable anymore due to how diverse the ecosystem have come to be. The concepts stay rather same, but production-ready code in another language is a completely different beast. Yeah, it's so true. And what can I say? I think in terms of like something for me like this, a hobby project, where of course let's put it like this. If I have a hobby project now that I just launched, but I also have authentication and logins and user accounts, of course, I run under more risk. I have to be compliant with GDPR, depending on how I solve it. But the good thing is that I think I would go the route of like using Auth0 and stuff like this, just to, and I don't know how they have their terms, but at least I wouldn't have to take care of the hosting of the user credentials. It's more about, correct me if I'm wrong, more about handling the tokens and expiration and those kind of things in the front end. And then, of course, you can pass that on to your own backend, so you have a microservice that takes care of. Auth0 does its thing, and then you pass that on to the next service. So I feel like that's been for me a bit like, I think it's the same on both ends. If I am coming from the front end world and would like to do more backend, and then first and foremost of the languages I prefer would be Golang. It's mainly fear driven for me. Like, well, I can do this just on my own, and I've done a couple of courses on Udemy and stuff, and I've coded along. But to put stuff in production is definitely something where either you would want to do it with your company and have people with the right experience backing it up, or if you're doing it on your own, it's also an extra. So for me, that's a bit like, I fall a bit back from doing backend on my own. In front end, we can just use like Firebase or some other backend service that is plug and play. Like even Hasura is a off topic here, but it's a really nice plug and play tool where you can deploy yourself with their ready images. And then you basically have a GraphQL engine on top of PostgreSQL or PostgreSQL, which they also plan to be able to adapt for other databases. And then if you plug that with Auth0 and they have connections there, then you kind of get like set and forget stuff where you don't have to touch the stuff that can be scary in terms of someone coming and wanting to do something on the back end themselves. Matthias is mentioning WebRTC, really nice topic. He's saying that there's also a very interesting development in Go regarding WebRTC. Nice. So github.com/peon. I'll get it up here while we cover the last questions as well. GitHub. Peon. I'll have it ready. I'll cover it in a second. Yeah, nice. Thanks for the hint, Matthias. We'll have a look. Christian is saying, thank you, that's curious. So in response to what I just highlighted, and Rodolfo as well.
Yeah, I can see how that can be used. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Pure Go implementation of WebRTC API, nice. I actually have worked a little bit with WebRTC on the front end, and when I mentioned before that there was a code base at my previous company that I didn't touch much, that was actually proprietary RTC engine written in Node. So it's really nice to see that there is something in Go. And also I know how much that sort of community and WebRTC have struggled with non-unified standards, or more that the different browsers have really lagged behind, mainly Safari. But that got fixed, I think, 2 years ago, where it finally was some compatibility there, so it wasn't the one that was impossible to handle. And it's also nice and interesting technology, so it really needs support from all the vendors.
So next meetup we can do a peer-to-peer video share.
Yeah, we can make a new StreamYard. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, everyone can join in. That sounds good. There's even a DTLS library. Nice. Cool. I guess from Peon is what he's referring to. Yes, DTLS. Let me just pick that so we get the context. He's referring to a Peon DTLS library, and Peon is open source cross-platform stack for real-time media and data communications. Really nice.
We're familiar with DTLS.
Right?
I'm not familiar with DTLS. Is it this is TLS with a D in front?
No, I think I also don't know them. But feel free to dig in, anyone. There's a lot of stuff there for VoIP. Let's just call it VoIP and that kind of area. Okay, nice. Not just VoIP. What did we call it? Unified communications is the buzzword, and people selling WebRTC solutions.
So this
TLS for UDP.
Yeah, this is Datagram Transport Layer Security version 1.2. See here the IETF page with the specs. So it's interesting, yeah.
Nice. Good.
Cool.
We keep saying 12 minutes ago that we'll end soon, but there's still as many people alive, and we still keep getting questions. So we'll give it a couple more minutes for sure. Looking forward to meet many of you again in person. I don't know if you have joined us, Mohammed. We always have to judge on the avatars, but I remember definitely having met Christian, Matthias. Anthony has no avatar, and he just started Vienna.go, so I guess he has not attended us in person. I'm sure some of you might even not be local to Austria, just having seen this somewhere. But it's nice. We had Aztec join in the beginning. We didn't hear more from him or her. I don't know if we met Dominic Deutsch. I feel like the face is familiar, so maybe you have been at a in-person event. Nice to see you again online. Yeah. Good. Okay. Then we need some disinfectants, of course. Just a shout out to my company and the sponsor, of course. We're looking forward to share goodies with you guys again in person, like this. Or there's also sugar drinks and nice for the hydro homies. For those of you who know Reddit, there's some nice water. Just really off topic. If you really like water, like I also do, even though I like this sometimes, there is a nice, if you know Reddit, there's a subreddit called Hydro Homies. It's basically people sharing memes about water and how awesome it is to drink all the water in the world and how healthy it is. So if you want to have some encouragement and you know you need to drink more, Hydro Homies for us nerds and geeks. That's a nice resource to share. Mohammed never joined us before, but he's looking forward to joining more often, especially when there's pizza. That's nice. I guess you're local to us in Austria. That's pretty nice. We'd love to have you. And beer is mainly water, so you're right, Matthias. I think we are agreeing on our. We both have a somewhat fondness for beer, so we can of course say that there's plenty of water in there. That's for sure. Dominic had his first Go meetup now, and thanks for organizing it. Hope next meetup we will have that at the next meetup we'll have the chance to meet in person. Yeah, for sure. And I'm probably going to fail at this. Should I unplug? Probably not. So for those of you who know this room, you've seen this before. For those of you not, this is our nice meeting room where we have all our meetups. Let me just come around and share. I'm having a docking station. I don't know if I dare plug out middle of the stream.
That's dangerous.
That's dangerous. You see somewhat the view there. You don't really. There's just some windows.
I can fly there.
Oh yeah. Rodolfo will fly. He'll show you. Yes.
They can hear me, but they can.
Yeah, they can't hear you, but there you go. So we're in the 36th floor in the Millennium Tower. It's a really nice view. And now it's a bit shitty weather, but still you see a lot. We have no mannequins as simulated audience. That's true, Christian. But we are just checking that our location is intact and that there's still drinks in the fridge and that we are ready once the lockdown is lifted, or at least lifted more. There are some meetups that are talking about maybe having some get-togethers now already in the summer. For us, we're not prioritizing that. Personally, I don't feel like it's nice to get together a lot of people physically when there's still, the situation going on as it is now. Anthony is looking forward to see in person. That's at. It's always at Hamlet Sky? Yes, at least for the foreseeable future, because I used to do these meetups. So I used to do them on my own. I still mainly do them on my own. Like here, I have the great co-organizer Rodolfo, who has helped now for half a year at least, maybe more.
Nice. I don't know.
Yeah, at least since he joined us from Brno, so maybe even longer. When did you come here from? Summer, last summer?
Too hard now.
No, we cannot take it on the spot. Yes.
Remember.
But I started. I founded all the meetups on my own, except for Vienna.js that I'm helping organize. But of the 3 ones, all this to say, I know how much hard work it is if I don't have a major sponsor covering and helping consistently. So one of the things that is hardest for a meetup organizer is to get a space consistently. We've been at so many different places, like the Vienna.go started at Riot, the Research Institute for Arts and Technology, which is more of a blockchain and cryptocurrency hub. I think they are still at Neubergasse, and they're really nice to help, but always in spaces, they need someone to be there for us to man the bar. And then there's always a question of if people buy enough stuff in the bar for us to be able to have the space for free. Mm-hmm. So now we have the great situation that my company is supporting, also always supporting with food and drinks. I'm sorry that I'm talking so much about the sponsor, but really it's all to say that it's really nice for me to know that I can focus on providing good content and ongoing meetups and organizing and all the stuff that goes around that, without having to think about stuff like where do we get pizza at the next event? Do we have a location at the next time? So I'm really happy to say that we have a fixed location. We are also playing around with plans of maybe being able to still with the same sponsor have another fixed location that is even bigger, but that's more of a in nice to have / in the planning still. So. No news on that.
Yeah, it's good to have this stability.
Yeah, for sure. Matthias is saying that he met Rodolfo in the first time at the Vienna.go Weihnachtsfeier.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Oh yeah,
I know for sure there was a Christmas. The I think in December we had.
Yeah, I think he means a dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a dinner.
Yeah.
So, that was late last year. I think December.
Yeah.
So,
that was a combination of Christmas dinner and a late 10-year anniversary dinner.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Very well remembered.
So at least 6 months, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think already then you had been involved. So I think like it's more like closing in on a year. I think not that we need to calculate
for a year yet. That's sure.
Okay.
So it's something in between.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We solved it. Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. There's still 7 people live. We're still going strong, but I think now we'll give it until Q2. I think that's my hard stop then. I don't know for you, Rodolfo.
Yeah, that's good. If we have like more topics to talk about, or otherwise we are already pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah. Thanks, Mohammed. And then a place close to Karlsplatz with food and drinks. That's nice. That being said, it's all about convenience right now. So the stability and convenience. I work on the 34th floor. I take the floor up 2 floors, and I can be here to welcome you all. When we have physical meetups, of course, things happen. Life happens, and things can change. So definitely keep it in mind, Muhammad. And if something comes up, remind me. But for now, we have a really stable solution going on. And the problem we have here is that for Vienna.go, it's not really a problem, but we have a space for comfortably 40, 45 people. And then it starts being a bit too crowded. Beyond that, of course, that fully is obsolete now with COVID-19 because that would not work, but in normal circumstances. So the first problem we have, I think, is if we get too many attendees, which is a luxury problem that we'll handle right now. Christian is saying he's the first one to throw in the towel, maybe, or maybe he wants to help us end the event. Not that it was not nice, because we're continually getting comments and questions. He's saying, all right, thank you for the event and see you next time. Thank you, Christian. And thank you, Christian. From what I understood, you're also Dertzea on Twitch. Now we know where to go, I guess, for game streaming on Twitch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So we're almost done.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Are we allowed?
Social distance. Cheers.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's funny. Now we're actually on the wrong side. No, actually, yes.
Probably.
Before we were right if we looked at each other. Now if I look at Rodolfo,
So
I'm looking. Looks fun, I guess. Funny. I mean, yeah. Good. Rodolfo is taking another tour with you guys. Oh, nice.
Okay. So problem solved.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
No.
Two cameras. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah. Hello. Good.
One is probably good enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Okay. I think we'll leave it at that. Any last minute, like, oh, I have to say this or ask this question or say bye, then do that now. Otherwise, we're wrapping up. We've covered most of the things already 3 times in terms of housekeeping. So September will most likely be the next event. If you're looking for a job, appcont.com, of course, have a look. Contact me directly if you have any questions or would like to share your resume and wonder if there is something for you if you're looking. If you would like to give a talk at a future event, like Christian said, so Christian, feel free to shout out, or we will be in touch before September. The talk that was canceled was purely due to health reasons involving hospital, so we are really sorry and hoping that he is recovering well. That is tentatively planned for September, so we had the talk that was planned for today. Should be ready for September, hopefully. But it always talks, especially for this meetup. We've had a lot of great local people giving talks. Eric Unga has been on, I cannot pronounce that fully, sorry, has been giving talks before and have been in contact again that after summer it could be fitting for him to give more talks. So we'll take advantage of that. And if you would like to help organize in any way, also let us know. We're always open for help. And please help spread the word. Please review us on Meetup.com. It helps us a lot, I think. I don't know the algorithm, like they say on YouTube. If you leave a 5-star rating and, or of course, if it's shit, leave a 1-star rating. I don't mind. And the problem I've run into a Meetup is every time you have to leave a review, you also have to write a comment. I think they changed that, but it should be really simple. Just leave a comment, put a word, and submit. And you will help us and the community. Okay, Matthias is saying, okay, I'll also call it. Thank you very much and see you next time. Muhammad is also saying, thanks for organizing. Good chat, everyone. I will bid farewell now. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. And I think that's good. Parting words, I think we'll say the same. Till next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Take care of your loved ones. And yeah, be well. Ciao.
We have a lightning door.
Oh yeah, and then we're back to bye from Dominic. And Matthias is saying he could maybe give a lightning talk about Mage, a build tool for Go written in Go. And Anthony is also saying bye. So Matthias, I think we've been in contact before. Just contact me so I don't forget, so we can pencil you in for a talk. Would love to hear a normal talk or small talk if you prefer. Would love to hear that. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.